Hi everyone, it is me, Crystal from ArmyWife101.com, and today I had received a question. Well, I just checked my inbox on YouTube, and I had received a question from a girlfriend of a soldier who's currently in AIT, and she wanted to know about just how does she go about living with her soldier, what's it like to live on post, how she'll be able to afford things, and so forth. And I thought I kind of get these questions really often, so it's just easier for me to make a video, so I hope she doesn't mind. Um, and I'll just start off by saying the main thing that women or future spouses or anything should know is that in order for the army or any branch of the military to know you exist, you have to be married. So you cannot live with him or anything like that or get any kind of military benefits or anything until you are legally married. After that, he would go to the DEER's office at his base. He would fill in some paperwork. I believe it's called the DD 1172, which is for the DEER's um, enrollment. And basically, that paperwork, once it's approved and processed in the system, is what makes the Army recognize that you exist. You're now a dependent of him, or a dependent of the United States Army, or what have you. So you definitely need to be married. Okay. And once you get past all that, then you definitely can start reading all the information I provide on my blog about what to expect afterwards, how to move, how to PCS, and so forth. But you have to be married first. So nothing else kind of really matters until that's done. As far as living on post goes, I did a video on living on post, so check that out. Living on post differs for everyone. It can depend on the size of the base, your experience there. Um, your experience with people will essentially just depend on you and how you are. A lot of people say there's drama living on post. Drama is everywhere, and sometimes even when you're not a drama filled person, you can kind of get caught up with a person who may be that way. I say if that happens, to kind of separate yourself. But as far as your actual living experience on base, as I was saying before I got to the drama part, it'll really just depend on the size of the base, what's available on base, because a smaller base tends to be a little bit boring, especially if it's a smaller base with no activities and then it's in the middle of nowhere. You know, take a base like, for instance, Fort Bragg. It's a huge base. Fayetteville's not a big city, but it's a pretty decent sized city. There's Walmarts, there's Best Buys, there's a mall, versus a small town where there's no mall close by, there's not even a Walmart close by, there's nothing to do. And then you have a base that doesn't even have any activities. It can be quite boring for somebody to, especially who's new to this lifestyle and is not used to that. So you take that into consideration. As far as living on post and actually living on post housing, um, is free, but not technically. Your husband or future husband will receive a stipend, or what's known as basic allowance for housing, BAH, in his paycheck. If you live on post, it's automatically taken out, so you never see it. So technically, that's why it feels free, because you're not used to getting the money. It automatically comes out anyway. Um, if you live on post, that gets taken out. As far as utilities go, a lot of posters are implementing mock billing and light bills. Basically, they give you a certain amount. If you go over it, you owe the difference. So you're not really paying a full light bill, but you are paying something, which I wrote an article about that too. So check that on Army Wife 101. Affording things. That was your next question. Well, your husband has a job, so I would hope as a spouse, or a future spouse, he's going to provide for you if you're not working. But naturally, just because you're living on a post doesn't mean your life stops. It can be a little more challenging when you're military to find a job, because we do move quite often. But I know many spouses who hold jobs and make decent livings, their own salaries and everything else. So you can work. There's always the work at home options. Many spouses are entrepreneurs. They start businesses. They sell Avon. They sell candles. They sell all these different things. So those are the things you can look into. There are also many work at home jobs, which is something I kind of like to say that I specialize in, because I've worked from home since 2005, maybe. So, and actually had work at home jobs like as a virtual assistant, things like that that don't involve selling. So those kind of jobs do exist. But your spouse will be getting paid. um, don't believe the hype about, oh, well, he receives extra money because he's married. He doesn't. If you're married, you get BAH, and if you're not, and if he's not, and he lives on post in the barracks, he doesn't. So that's the extra so-called money that you'll hear people say you get. Of course, if he does deploy, there are things like separation pay, which you get because you do have a family member. It's only like $250 a month, and it's only for if you're gone over 30 days. So those are the kind of things you get. So don't believe the hype about, oh, well, he's going to get all this extra money from me. If he's deployed, he gets about $575 extra for deployment pay. So there's no huge amounts of money that he gets, but you can live pretty decently if you live on post, and of course you don't have a lot of bills and you don't create a lot of debt for yourself. So with that said, I'm at the 5 minute mark. I hope that just kind of gives you a little inside scoop into what Army life is like. I hope I didn't miss any of your questions. Continue to visit me at armywife101.com, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.